At the SLP's Conference of Delegates in Vieux-Fort, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre made a desperate attempt to rewrite history.
You will remember that the United Workers' Party only gave COVID support to NIC contributors.
This claim is absolutely false. The truth? In July 2020, under the UWP administration, 5,000 St. Lucians who were non-contributors of NIC received $500 per month for 3 months to help them survive the pandemic. Prime Minister Pierre knows the facts, yet he chose to lie to the nation. Why? To mislead and divide. St. Lucia deserves a leader who values integrity, one who speaks the truth, not one who tries to twist it. Pierre, pardon. We need real leadership, not deception.
Welcome to the Caribbean American News Media Show, your premier destination for in-depth coverage, engaging discussions, and entertaining segments showcasing the rich tapestry of Caribbean American culture. Join us as we explore a wide range of topics, from current events and community spotlights to arts, music, cuisine, and more. Our show features exclusive interviews with influencers, artists, community leaders, and everyday heroes who are making a difference in the Caribbean American community. Stay informed and inspired with our thought-provoking segments that highlight the diversity, resilience, and creativity within our community. Tune into the Caribbean American News Media Show for a captivating blend of news, entertainment, and storytelling that celebrates the Caribbean American experience. Get ready to discover new perspectives, celebrate successes, and connect with the heartbeat of the Caribbean American community. Don't miss a moment of the action. Stay tuned to Caribbean American News Media Show for an immersive viewing experience like no other. Hashtag Caribbean American News, hashtag show, hashtag cultural celebration.
Caribbean American News Media, your Tuesday night power hour. Live every Tuesday at 8:15 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and GVV TV channel 115. Join your host, Garfield Oliver, as he dives deep into the latest inclusion developments, regional affairs, and global issues that matter to you. From politics to the economy, community stories to international headlines, we cover it all with real talk and real insights. Stay informed, get the facts, be part of the conversation. Don't miss out. Set your reminders, share with your friends, and tune in. Caribbean American News Media, the news you report. Caribbean.
They stream the tears and the cheers so clear. From the church to the pitch, they're always near. Tie the knot or score the goal, my friend. GVD TV's got you till the end. They stream the high They stream the lows from wedding vows to final shows, through life's twists and the path it bends. GVD's there, it never ends.
Well, a special good night to all our viewers here on the platform. Caribbean American News Media is wishing you a beautiful evening. It's 17 p.m. and I trust that all is well with you. For those of you who are joining us through GVD TV channel 115, that is Flow, greetings to you. Those of you who are on our Facebook channel and our YouTube channel, we say good evening to you. Those of you who are monitoring us, the 70% of you that are viewing behind the scenes, I want to welcome you also in our stack. We can see that 70% of our viewers are non-subscribers, which means that majority of them are watching from the outside. They are peeping in, but we want to welcome you onto the platform. But again, I want to greet every one of you. I want to thank you so much for being part of the experience here on our platform, and we look forward to a vibrant show program tonight. Feel relaxed, comfortable. There's no need. Sorry, we having some distraction here. Okay, good. I believe we got it now. Anything that is technical, folks, normally we would have sometime these glitches, but we're here all together. All right, so please share the live and tag a friend. We will be right back after this short break as we get the system together in check. All right, folks, I believe we can work with what we have right now, but greetings again to all our viewers on the platform, and we look forward to a beautiful show tonight. Please share the live and tag a friend. Please share the live and tag a friend. Share the live and tag a friend. All right. Greetings to you, Frina and Gilbert. Greetings, and I'm waiting for our chat to pop up over there on the YouTube channel. I can't greet you because I can't see who you are as yet, but I can see some of our Facebook viewers, greetings, and Jelly, good to have you, and all the faithful, my friend, Mr. Gasper over there in Dennery. I am not sure what he's viewing us on, whether he's viewing at all, but I want to greet him and wish all of you a pleasant evening. He's wishing you God's blessings and his peace. That's what the nation needs, friends. The nation needs a little more of Jesus, and that's true. There's too much of self, and so we are destroying ourselves. Yeah, that's a true statement. But anyway, we're going to start our program now. Again, it is a pleasure to be here with you on this another Tuesday night. There's a lot happening in the news, but there is a promotion for the Tri-State Caucus here in New York. That is the Tri-State area. And let me just put it back for a bit. For those of you who don't know, this is one of the newest caucus that is on the block. Most of you would have heard a number of stuff out there about caucuses and everything else, but this is one that embraces all the tri-state, from Connecticut, New Jersey. Yeah, we go to New Jersey too. The Bronx, Queens, Long Island. It covers a broader spectrum of humans, and so it is being worked on. It has come a long way, I can tell you, and it will continue to push. And I just want to say that this is not an offshoot of anything. I just want to make this clear. I'm going to say it again. This Tri-State Caucus, it is not an offshoot of anything, one. Two, it is UWP, 100%. It supports the mission, the agenda of the United Workers' Party. It is not in conflict with anything that has to do with the United Workers' Party. Matter of fact, I believe it stands on principle. It stands on principle, equity, what is right, what is just. And I believe that is what we as the United Workers' Party stand for. All right, so Vicky says that Mr. Gasper is always present. Yes, sir. Moi kota dadukave no. I will never forget you, sir. All right, I would never forget you as a little boy growing up. You know, you contribute to the development of your country, and I believe that you should have been knighted. You should have been knighted instead of the Nigerian president. I said what I said. Like my family, tonight I'm not going to speak Creole because I did not drink my grape juice, so I'm not going to. My throat is not too oil up. But greetings again to all. So let's get to work. Let's get to work, friends. Let's get to work. There's a whole lot that we got to cover tonight. Let me know if the volume is okay, if you can hear me clearly. Is there anything else that I need to do when it comes to the volume on the set? I believe I need to have the mic a little more directly in front of me for a more impactful experience. Yes, I use a very big word there. I said impactful. Well, man, why is me? Anyway, so let's go on. So here is a promotion that I did want to put up. This is not the official flyer. This one was generated just for cyberspace, of course, and I hope that you appreciate that. For those of you in the tri-state, here is it. And this is a promotion. It is not a paid promotion on this platform. It is pro bono. It is free of charge. I just wanted to make that known to the general public. Arnold, greetings to you. Connor, greetings to you. Sir, Junior, Mary, greetings to you. Augusti, greetings to you. All right, so here it is. The Tri-State Flubber Caucus presents a fundraising event, three-hand domino night party, three-hand domino competition. It starts from 4 p.m. and that is on Saturday, July the 26th, 2025. And the DJ I see there, it is DJ Roots Rock. DJ Roots Rock, dance at 10 p.m., domino 4 p.m. Winner takes all, and the address is 117 Tapscott I believe Avenue, Tapscott Avenue. It is between Blake and Sutter in Brooklyn. So this is 4 p.m. Tickets, $10 to enter. There will be food and drinks available. Now, again, this is not a paid announcement, but this is coming out of the Tri-State Flubber Caucus. That is one of the newest one that is being developed right now over there in New York. And so they're having their first event. There's 3 more events that I'm hearing of. There's going to be a massive town hall meeting in Brooklyn in the next, I believe, the next couple of weeks. Massive town hall meeting that will be coming out of one of the districts of St. Lucia. One of the candidates will be here in the United States and will be having a major town hall meeting for that community. We'll make that official announcement soon. There are 2 other major events that is already planned, and things are well on the way for this summer here in New York. A lot of events concerning the United Workers' Party that is happening around New York. The United Workers' Party is going to be on fire. They're going to be coloring the entire New York during this summer in yellow, called yellow. And like I said to you, there's no disagreement here, folks. We're on United Workers' Party business. That's what we are, united and strong. And we believe in the mission, and that is to remove the St. Lucia Labour Party off of the backs of the citizens of the country. And we are very much united in that. We may have differences of opinions, and I know that there are some people who don't like each other, but you got to love each other for the sake of God and the sake of country. There is no room for hate and divisiveness, and so I call all of our people to unite, come together, and let's not get together to feel all right. Let's get together. There's work to be done. Enough of the distraction. Let's get together and do what we must in order to educate the people, to inform the people, to help the people make up their minds, help them to get ready for what is about to come in the next few months. I said the next few months. I know what I'm saying. I'm not asking you to correct me, folks. I am saying what I just said, and I am not going to take it back. What do you say? Of course, why not? So I call all to unite, folks. There's no need for all back and forth and negativity. It is time to focus. Most of the times, people are just full of themselves, self-centered. They are just, their intention sometimes becomes so evil because of self that they see nobody else. They don't think about other people's feelings, and they say things, they do things, and people don't care about each other. The hearts of men has become so cold and evil towards each other that moun just got tre moun just got di nipot bagay le moun. Oui, yo ka just kre voler poyen, yo ka just kre yon chien kalte bagay. Anyway, here go me again with the whole Creole thing, but this was the promotion for the Tri-State Flubber Caucus that is in aid of preparation for the general elections. And by the way, we are also helping with registration. Those of you who are in the diaspora and you do not know whether you're on the list, whether you can vote or where you're voting, please reach out to us, and we are here to help you. We're here to help register people. We're here to help you confirm your registration, to organize your ID cards. We are here to give you the tools for the upcoming general elections. This is what it is. We're going to be putting up our war room for this election on this platform. We're going to put it up very soon. We're going to have the pundits and the from both sides very soon as we look at the achievement of both government, both leaders, characters, and what was done, what was not done. We're going to go into an analysis of the paralysis. We're going to go deep into the boudin, folks, of what the previous United Workers' Party government achieved and what this Labour Party achieved. We're going to have these debates, these discussions with the intention of preparing the voters, preparing the people so that they can make an informed decision. We do not want anyone going into this election making decisions that they're not aware of because somebody forced them to vote. They're not voting on the issues. They're not voting on the record of either party. You're just topsy-turvy. You're just cafe nipple bagay. We are going to have a very robust platform here where we're going to inform you. We're going to give you the tool. No mapwe, no drama. We're just cool and easy as the wind blows. That's exactly what we're going to be doing here in the next coming months in preparation for the 2025, almost 2026 general elections. Okay, so I heard somebody saying, you don't know what he's talking about. Well, trust me, I'm a man of vision and I see very far. Yes. All right, so that's what I want to say to you. So again, let me just put it up for the last time. Free promotion for the fundraiser in Brooklyn, New York, 117 Tapscott Avenue between Blake and Sutter in Brooklyn. It's going to be tickets $10 to enter. It starts at 4 p.m. That's the domino competition, starts at 4 p.m. Food and drinks on sale. And I'm reading here, there's a dance at 10 p.m. 10 p.m. Over there in Brooklyn. I heard somebody said winner takes all. I don't play dominoes and I don't dance and all those things, so I don't know what you mean by winner takes all. I know in the elections, winner takes some. You got to just win, folks. You got to just win. All right, so let's get down into the boudin of the boudin. But let's go first of all to the people's business here on the platform. Again, greetings to those of you who are just joining us. Mr. Patterson Francis, greetings to you, sir. And I also want to thank you for your service to the nation. We don't say thank you enough to our leaders, those who have served us in the country. Mr. Cameron, greetings to you. Also, Lotus, greetings to all of you. Again, I want you to ensure that your ID cards and everything is in place. Talk to your children. Get your sick family's documents in place also. Take care of your household. Take care of your household. Ensure that you're not forcing anyone, but ensure that all their ID cards, they know exactly where they're voting. They understand the issues. Just keep at it, all right? Time is running out and the elections will be very soon, and I have absolutely no doubt about what I'm saying here. So please get ready and stay ready. So this weekend we saw the announcement of two candidates for the St. Lucia Labour Party. That is Danny Butcher, a teacher by profession, a theologian. I know the gentleman, a very dynamic preacher, young man, very calm and collective. We also have Lisa Juawa. Some people say she's ferocious, she Pamela and all this kind of story, but she is officially the candidate there in Castries Southeast. Mr. Joachim is no longer the man in play here, so the game has not changed in that area. The people have already made up their minds as far as I'm concerned, and they want the right guy, Mr. Guy Joseph, back in that seat. The game plan has not changed. It is a UWP against an SLP. That's all it is there. All right. And it's about track record. And, we can't ask Lisa for track record. She's just coming in, young, energetic, and, think that maybe she can move the entire world. I don't know. Well, let's see what happens there. But I want to welcome these two young people into the arena. They're the two youngest, I believe, right now on the scene. And in politics, I want to say to them that there is no mercy when it comes to politics. Once you come in, all hell is going to break loose on you. So I hope that you studied this carefully. And I want to say something to some hypocrites. I don't always call people hypocrites, but tonight I want to call some people hypocrites. When I started discussing political matters, I started this platform because I saw the work of the United Workers' Party, which is my party for all my life. But I saw what they were doing, and I also saw what the Labour Party was doing. Believe it or not, I, spend a lot of time here in New York around Labour Party supporters. Some of the events that they've had, I live stream it. I sometimes would be the MC in the case of Allison when she lost her son. I did the MCing for the vigil in Brooklyn, which was tremendous. Also, folks, I also was asked to live stream some years ago when the opposition leader that was at the time, Philip J. was coming at a school downtown Brooklyn. They asked me, it was Sweaty Pam and Annette and those people, and the Council General, Allison, called me and asked me to live stream it to St. Lucia for them, and I was paid for that, of course, and I was given lunch and everything else. So I was the one who live streamed it over to the Labour Party's website for them at the time. So at the time I was working in the diaspora among the St. Lucians as a St. Lucian folks, as a St. Lucian, one who wanted to give service on behalf of the country here. And I also streamed during COVID. I was the one who did the independence broadcasting, where I linked up, and I'm just telling you things that you might not know. So when you hear people asking, where you come from, who is he, stay out of our business. No. You wanted me in your business. You had me in your business. You loved me in your business. Sometimes you paid me to be in your business. So I am in your business because you have me in your business. And by the way, it's not your business, it's also my business as a St. Lucian. So just some correction there. But I'm coming to the hypocrisy, folks. So I did link up all the embassies here in the United States, from Washington to even to Canada and Miami. Because of COVID, we could not have had the independence celebration openly. So I had to sit there over, I think it was more than 20 hours, sit in a chair with computers around me, and just hundreds, folks. When I say to you, I had hundreds of pieces of videos and stuff that I had to pull together in order to broadcast live the independence celebration. Even the flag raising ceremony, I had to broadcast that. So I spent hours upon hours working that night for our St. Lucian community in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis, and we were able to pull it off, folks. I am telling you, I sat in that place for hours upon hours until midnight. There were videos that we had to pull in, we had to audit. There were singers from New Jersey, from St. Lucia, from all over the place, messages from the different diplomats from around the region, from around the countries. I had to pull all of their messages from Cheryl Francis over there in Canada and Miami, and folks, it was, and then the Prime Minister's address, I had to pull that in also. So it was a lot of work. So I just said that to say I don't boast about it too much, but I say this because I want to put a spike in the mouth of some people who I would consider to be hypocrites. Now remember, I don't really call people names all the time. It takes me a while to actually do this, and I thought that it was right this is the right moment and this is the right time to do it. So it is not about me. It's not about me. I'm just trying to, and I don't defend myself too much. I don't believe too much in that. I believe that vengeance is not mine. It is the Lord's own, and he does it more. He does it beautiful. He does it much better than me. So I leave that in his hands. So let's go back to the whole bouillon of the situation. So, and it's all in with the selection of officers, Danny Butcher in Viewfort and the young lady in Cashry Southeast. Let me show you the hypocrisy. So when I came in and I started advancing the cause of the United Workers' Party, the Labour Party people came at me with a vengeance. All of a sudden, Christians should not be speaking about matters that pertains to the development of a country. All of a sudden, Christians should not take a side when it comes to political matters. Christians must not look at the issues based on policies, based on attitude, and make a decision to support a party. All of a sudden, Christians could not have done it when I came in to this debate. And so there was a young lady called Annette Dubois, who was my friend, and a number of others came at me. And they said a lot of stuff at the time about me. Even Kikara, Garfield, don't get involved in this. Please, I beg you. This politics thing is not for Christians. You should not get involved. These are the people that was telling me that. Now, Annette is on the Labour Party committee, was on the Labour Party committee organizing thing during the visit of Prime Minister, at the time opposition leader. One of the organizers, and oh yes, and all in red, and red glasses and red clothes, and yeah, Labour Party and flabo, flabo. Yeah, this. So when I came on, they prayed for me. They said, oh, pray. They pray that the Lord will bring me back to the fold. And I said, but I never left the fold. All I am doing is using my influence to help with the development of a country. Said, oh no, you go to hell, you're a hypocrite, you're a fake pastor, you're not a pastor, you're not an elder, you're not nothing, you don't have any certificate in theology or biblical studies or anything else, you are nothing. And by the way, this is my rant, folks, before the program. So just bear with me to just expose the hypocrisy, of course, that I'm talking about in our nation. Yeah. And so they said that, no, you're not supposed to be in that gasa, kafil, gasa, take a push, shake, bike, or hump. I'm still preaching. Well, you should go on the mission field. It's best you stay on the mission field. You're better there. I'm still there. Oh, you have the Sound the Alarm program, and it's better there. But none of them were listening to it. None of them were sharing it. But all of a sudden, they became my advisors. Politics pas bon, pas bon. But they are the ones who paid me a couple of years ago to broadcast the town hall meeting. That's before I pushed myself public. I was behind the scenes, working when I am called to do so. Pas fini, pas faire ça. And one sister came to me from one of the churches and she said, Garfield, man, I had to defend you because the people were saying so much about you in the church during the service. And I said, wow, sister, I'm so sorry. I guess pray for them. But here comes Danny Butcher. Now, I have no problems with Danny Butcher. I know his family. They're good people. And I have nothing bad to say about his family. These are good people. And I owe no man nothing save to love him. And to love them, of course. And so I love him with the love of God. And he's a young man. And there's a road to travel when it comes to having your name as a candidate. But what surprised me is that these same people who were saying to me, no, you can't, don't get involved. We heard that you're going to put your name in to run for Denry South. Professor, yes, sir. Who's a Christian or professor? Brethren, the first set of people that is congratulating Mr. Butcher, the people who are in the front line sharing Danny's picture and supporting him is the best choice. It's the best thing you ever do. Go for it. We support you. We're praying for you. Go, Danny, go. He's a good man for politics. Now, Danny's a very good preacher. I can tell you that. I can listen to him all day preach. But Danny becoming the candidate for Viewfort, is it South? Does not mean that the guy is not a Christian. That's the point. So now Danny has opened a whole ant's nest for the same individuals. Now I'm in the hypocrite corner right now, who was saying that I should not be speaking, but now they are celebrating their guy because he is red and not yellow. So I say to you, those who are listening to me, be very careful with hypocrisy. If it's good for one, it is good for all. If it's bad for one, it's bad for all, whether USOP or UWP. And I can prove to you 150 times in the Bible where we had advisors to governments appointed by God himself. Where we had individuals who were counsel to what we would consider to be prime ministers or leaders of countries. Biblical appointees. We had kings who were Christians. And we have, even in Jamaica and Africa, we boast as Christians of the president being a Seventh-day Adventist and the president being a Pentecostal and the president of this one being a bishop. And we boast, yes, because, but when people like me decide to let our voices be heard, and being silent is not enough. For those who are bound, those who are hungry, those who are thirsty, those who are homeless, those who cannot find proper medical care, when we agitate for food pantries around St. Lucia, when we agitate for those things, we do well. So all the drama that they tried to pull me in when I first came, all the drama they try to pull me in, and all the time I'm not saying anything, and guess what? The more they try to pull me in the drama, and the more I said nothing is the more they try to pull me, and then they turn back and say, he's always in some drama. I was never in any drama. For those of you who know me, who saw me, who watched me, who followed me throughout the years. I just don't defend myself. I just don't say a lot. When it comes to me, I try to stay on the issues. So I'm just trying to say to you, now that my friend Danny Butcher is on the block, that whole corner, religious hypocrites corner, is now being exposed. And by the way, Joachim Henry not only was a Christian, Joachim Henry went into the church and disturbed the church on the Sabbath day. He went there with no restriction at all, nothing. He went in and they supported him, the same people in the corner. They sided with him and said he did nothing wrong. Why would you say it's Guy Joseph who did wrong? Guy Joseph didn't say anything. He was just sitting there. So if we're speaking about equity, if we're speaking about what is right for one is right for all, what is wrong for one is wrong for all, I'm saying to you, friends, it is time for us to pull ourselves together as a nation. The Bible says when the righteous rule, the people are glad. When the wicked rule, the people are sad. Same Bible says that righteousness exalts the nation. As a matter of fact, we need more religious people in our politics, in our government systems, in our supermarkets, in agencies. We need more God-fearing people who would do what is fair, what is right, what is just in our society. We have too much crooked, ungodly men in our nation. We have too much gage and magineux in our system. Too much nastiness in our nation. Too much nasty leaders around, sleeping around the entire community. Huh? Sleeping around the entire community. Impregnating every young girl in the community. No restriction. You can't voler, you can't mati. You know, back in the days, the kings, some of the leaders, governmental leaders and kings rather, were not permitted to drink strong drinks because the fear was that they would have been deceived and they would have implemented bad policies that would put extra pressure on the poor people in the nation. And so they were restricted from alcohol, from strong drinks. What we have sometimes a bunch of drunkards, out of control. Nastiness alone, and we cheer it on. Even the Christians, we cheer it on. Brother, when you see nastiness, call it out on any side. Because at the end of the day, United Workers' Party or SLP will not save you when you got to answer. You got to answer for yourself. So call it out when you see nastiness. We have a better country when we do so. But remember this, that righteousness will exalt your nation. And sin will bring it down to its knees when it comes to prosperity. There is nothing new under the sun. Kings of old tried that from Babylon and beyond. The pharaohs tried that. And they were warned. Nebuchadnezzar, all of them who thought they were powerful and they were the king of the jungle, all of them were warned. They were interrupted. The plans were interrupted. And Jesus said to them, God said, let my people go, man. You have them in bondage, working for nothing, enslaving them. Let them go. Free them. Free them, I destroy your whole system for you. And he drowned their leaders and their army into the sea. They drowned them in the sea. He drowned them in the sea with the nastiness. What do you think? You think there's something new under the sun today? No, nothing new under the sun. Whatever was is now and will be. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Go and ask all those powerful leaders who have gone to their graves, if you can. We're trying to shy these live more. So, fair, don't pull me in that door. So, here we go. That was a long rant. I came across a video from Musawa. She visited your country from Nigeria. I'm coming into your business soon, folks. Musawa is the Minister of Art, Culture, and Creative Economy for the Nigeria government. All right? So she came to your country. We heard that there was agreement signed between the government of St. Lucia and Nigeria. And people were asking, but what's in that for us? The Nigerians were asking their government, what's in that for us? St. Lucia only have 100 and something thousand people, and they're just a little needle on the map. What can they offer us? That's what the Nigerians were asking. But Musawa explained to her people why they came to St. Lucia, what the trip was all about. And I'm going to share it with you tonight because your government will not tell you everything. Everything is a secret there. So we have to go outside in order to get. Let's go to the African Media Network, that is TVC. The credit goes to them. We're going to play an interview from Musawa.
Specifically in terms of the investment that they bring onto the table. So with the discussions that we're having and with the French Treasury, which that one we've already signed an MOU with, whereby we have investment of 100 million euro that is going to go directly into...
Now remember, this is a clip from TVC, that is the Nigerian television network.
The framework that we have put in place with the policy, IP policy number 1, is something that has eluded the industry site to really open up the envelope as we do with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. St. Lucia on paper, to really open up the envelope as we do with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. St. Lucia on paper does not seem as a fit for Nigeria to go and do a partnership with, right? It's a country of less than 200,000 population, which is like as small or as big as my singular village in Nigeria. So you wouldn't think it is the ordinary or the normal way we should gravitate. But because of the foresight of the president, and as you see with the global happenings in the world, Nigeria has to be very creative in opening up other opportunities, especially with countries that want us to come in and to do business. St. Lucia is the gateway to the Caribbean. Despite the fact that it's a country that has less than 200,000 in terms of population, but St. Lucia is the main, I think it that is where the organization of the Eastern Caribbean countries reside. So when you open up partnerships...
Okay, so let's just correct her. That is not where the ECC, the Eastern Caribbean State headquarters is or lies. St. Lucia, I'm not sure where she got her information from. If your government there in St. Lucia told her what she's saying here. But I want you to listen a little more, friends. I want you to listen a little more. And then tonight, we're going to deal with the Bannon's land. We're going to deal with Allison Jean, who demands a retraction. So we're going to deal with Allison Jean, and we're going to call out everyone who were part of the Black Lives Matters movement in St. Lucia. Tonight, we're exposing a lot of nonsense from our society.
That is an access to 44 million population and 13 different countries. So when you think of it in that way, when you approach it in that way, you see that really St. Lucia has a lot to offer in terms of resources. And then you'd think this is a community that has an appetite and a hunger for Nigerian culture, for African culture.
Just bear with me. I want to rewind something here that she said so that you can hear.
Culture, for African culture. So this is
bear with me. Let's go
an
back
area
a bit.
to offer in terms of resources. And then you'd think this is a community that has an appetite and a hunger.
Okay, let's go back a little more.
Lucia is the main, I think it that is where the organization of the Eastern Caribbean countries reside. So when you open up partnership with St. Lucia, that is an access to 44 million population and 13 different...
So I want to apologize. I thought I was hearing ECCB. So it is the the OECS, and I believe the office is in St. Lucia. So let's go back to the clip. We do apologize.
Reside. So when you open up partnership with St. Lucia, that is an
Let's go back
to
again.
200,000 in terms of population. But St. Lucia is the main, I think it that is where the organization of the Eastern Caribbean countries reside. So when you open up partnership with St. Lucia, that is an access to 44 million population and 13 different countries. So when you think of it in that way, when you approach it in that way, you see that really St. Lucia has a lot to offer in terms of resources. And then you'd think this is a community that has an appetite and a hunger for Nigerian culture, for African culture. So this is an area that we really want to look into. Cultural diplomacy, cultural, different festivals. Their festival, which really mirrors the Calabar Festival, they're interested in what we have to offer with Dirty December or Jude Oba, with our Durbas, with the Arugungu Fishing Festivals. There's a lot of areas of similarity. And again, tourism. We're looking up to open up our tourism assets. And you look at a country like St. Lucia and many of the Caribbean countries that have been able to really bring tourism, really exercise tourism to a state that the whole global community wants to go to the Caribbean. So this is an area of capacity building that I, as a minister sitting on top of tourism, wants to see what we can do in terms of tapping into their own resource when it comes to tourism to teach us. Already we have signed an MOU with St. Lucia that's going to open Nigeria up to a number of resorts in Nigeria, tourism resorts, and then see how they can also tap into what we have to offer for culture. They have an interest. I tell you, in St. Lucia, every single person that you talk to is talking about Nollywood. That is the one thing, that is the one area of interest. Not even the music is the...
So let's just go through this, what she's saying, but we'll allow her to speak. At least you will hear what came out of the visit, and you're hearing it from Musawa, the Minister of Art and Culture and Creative Economy there in Nigeria, who visited St. Lucia recently with the president of that country. So let's look at it. So this is a strategic move by Nigeria. It is a stepping stone, St. Lucia, to get access to over 13 countries based on what she's saying. So Nigeria is looking for the interests of Nigeria. That's what is happening here. And any other country, I believe, would look out for their interests in whatever deals they are making in the region. So what does St. Lucia have to offer to Nigeria? One, we find out it offers access to over, I believe she said, 44 million people. 44 million people. That's one. Access. Stepping stone to get to where we want to get. What does St. Lucia have? An appetite for African culture. You understand what I'm saying? What St. Lucia has to offer is two. A hunger for African culture. So two things we found out: access to 44 million people and a thirst or a yearning, a hunger for African culture. Let's continue to listening.
Hollywood is the film industry. So can you imagine the different partnerships that we can open up the Nollywood industry to? From filming, co-production in the Caribbean, the filming, the locations that we can have, and as well as the fashion. They have an interest as the fashion. So we want to open them up to come into the Nigerian market, to look at how they can get resource from our leather, from our ashoke. So there's a number of benefits and work.
So again, Africa is looking out for their interests. So the other thing here we see is that they want to buy our things. Leather and what we have, they want. So we will open up a pathway for what they're hungering for. African culture, leather, we're not giving it to them. They're buying those stuff from us. So that is resources, that is more money coming in to the African nation from the small country, of course. And I'm not sure the amount of leather that you can buy in St. Lucia. I I mean, I heard you have an appetite, a big appetite over there as a small country. So one, access to 44 million, maybe 13 countries, thirst, desire, hunger for African culture, and we have leather that you guys can benefit from. You can purchase directly from us here in Africa. Let's go on.
So it's really about looking at what each country has, or the Caribbean has, or what Nigeria has, and to see what is mutually beneficial. And for me, is to continue to see what we can extract from St. Lucia. And like I said again, thank God that we have a president.
Right, what we can extract from St. Lucia. Did you hear that? I'm going to play you another one before we move on.
Dr. Ernest Hilary.
Yes, we did.
So,
yes.
so what's that about? What's that supposed to
So first of all, many people ask why St. Lucia, and I continue.
Let's go back.
St. Lucia. I was in St. Lucia.
So you signed it with your counterpart there, Dr. Ernest Hilary.
Yes, we did.
So,
yes.
so what's that about? What's that supposed to?
So first of all, many people ask why St. Lucia, and I continue to say that we are actually lucky that we have a president that has the ability to think ahead and outside the box. So Lucia wouldn't be your perfect fit for Nigeria, only because there's, they say, less than 200,000 people, population in St. Lucia, which is almost as big as my village, right? However, St. Lucia is the gateway to the Caribbean, which is 44 million.
Okay, so did you hear that again? Now, this is from a different network. This is Channel Television over there in Nigeria, and the program is Sunrise Daily. All right, so I want you to, we're going to play it again. I want you to be informed, St. Lucians. I want you to know what is happening, the deals that governments are going into, and what are the benefits, and who is benefiting from, and who will benefit more from some of the deals that are being signed. Like GPH was a massive giveaway, and most of you would agree with me that you got to get your port back. You got to get it back in your hands and get it back right now, because these are the deals that are signed and you don't know. Right now, and I will show you, we'll go into the Banans land later on, the people at Banans are suffering from deals that this government signed on to. This government deals again that you know nothing about. So I went over to Africa, and we are going to just hear from Madam Musawa, the cultural minister over there, what the discussion was, what is the deal, why she went to that country, St. Lucia, why, what is the reason, what is the purpose. So let's allow her to speak, all right? So we're going to play it over again. Pay attention, folks.
So you signed it with your counterpart there, Dr. Ernest Hilary.
Yes, we did.
So,
yes.
so what's that about? What's that supposed to?
So first of all, many people ask why St. Lucia, and I continue to say that we are actually lucky that we have a president that has the ability to think ahead and outside the box. So Lucia wouldn't be your perfect fit for Nigeria, only because there's, they say, less than 200,000 people, population in St. Lucia, which is almost as big as my village, right? However, St. Lucia is the gateway to the Caribbean, which is 44 million people in terms of population and counting, because you have a greater global community. And this is 13 countries. So St. Lucia is the headquarters to the Organization for the Eastern Caribbean. They're right there in St. Lucia. So it was, for me, I thought it was quite ingenious for the president looking at the atmosphere, the global atmosphere, whereby as Nigerians, we have to struggle to even get an appointment, to have a visa that is going to last, one.
All right, so something just came up there again. She said, as Nigerians, we have to wait in line to get a visa for the United States. And it sounds to me like that is an inconvenience to the Nigerian to be vetted in order to enter into the United States. And so She used the word gateway. I don't know if many of you got that St. Lucia is the gateway to the Caribbean, the gateway to 44 million people, about 13 countries. Pay attention, my people, pay attention, okay? There's good and there's bad and there's the ugly in this whole discussion, all right?
So we need to look at who, one entry for 3 months. So we need to look at who has the appetite and, the interest in what we have to offer in terms of our content and in terms of our country. So the president, I thought it was great, what he said to us was that the colonialists, when they went to the Caribbean, did not take away from Africa. What they did was they enhanced Africa. And I thought that was a beautiful way of looking at it. So Lucia is opening up our opportunities in terms of creativity and the cultural diplomacy. The festivals that they have. We have our Calabar Festival. We have our Dirty Decembers. Everybody in
jazz thing going.
The Jazz Festival, which we're going to play a part of. Everyone in St. Lucia wants to watch an Hollywood movie.
So there you hear one part of the deal. We're going to Jazz Festival. We're going to be part of it. And I know for a fact that we have paid a lot of money to Nigerians performers to come into this country and perform. It is not cheap to pay them. So one, we see a lot of performers from Nigeria coming in, and that is a few $1 million that will go out the door. So, all right, so one, you see the collaboration with Jazz Festival, using our creative people to perform at your festivals. I think one came to St. Lucia some time ago, and you guys had to pay them private jet and all kind of thing. You had to pay a lot of money to the performer, I believe, the Nigerian. So we have, you guys want their letter. They want access to the Caribbean. You guys want Nollywood. But aren't you St. Lucians having enough Nollywood every day in your country? There's always a drama in your country, It is always Teresa next door. Teresa, oh, leave my husband alone, oh. Or Johnny, leave my wife alone. Or some Asukote deal. Do you not have enough Nollywood in your country? Huh? You guys, you're not tired of all the drama in your country? You want more drama? You want Nollywood now in your country? Nothing is wrong with Nollywood. I'm just saying, you know what Nollywood is all about. Well, if you want me to tell you, I would tell you. Nollywood, if you look at the whole scene, is always somebody, I don't have the thing, somebody putting something in your drink, in the drink, somebody throwing something in the drink, and they throw the thing in the drink, and somebody's watching, they're trying to poison you, and you got it. Hey, Papa said, don't drink it, they're trying to kill you, or some nonsense. The husband will leave to go to work, and somebody sneaks in, or somebody's under the bed, or in the closet, and as soon as the husband steps out, yes, you hear the song start singing, and you swear that you're now out of Nollywood, and you're in Texas, so all you hear now is, I didn't jump the fence, the fruit was offered free. If you had trimmed the tree, I wouldn't have access to eat your fruit. And that's what you want in your country. Huh? That's all you get from Lollywood, Poison, somebody sneaking in, under the bed, through the window. Or some obia. Somebody turn into a fowl. Oh, you guys love that, ain't it? Mm-hmm. You have an appetite? You have an appetite for this? Oh, you need leather and you need leather and what else? Nollywood. Ezopani, I say Lollywood. Certainly see. Come on, Stepping Stone. You know the song. I didn't jump the fence, the fruit was offered free. I couldn't jump the fence if you had trimmed the tree. Yes, that's Nollywood. Nollywood tonight for you. You love that, ain't it? I can imagine those ministers saying to the Honorable Musawa, we love Nollywood. Oh, we watch it all the time. My son has 5 tapes of Nollywood. Yes, we watch it all the time. We love it. You love it. People just disappear. Whoop. Anyway, I'm teaching you how to mind your business, you know. So that when Nollywood come, that nobody will jump the fence and pick your fruit. And divorce court in session every weekend because Lollywood. And then the Obia man is getting more money from you all, your capoeira, and give you all old stinking bath with all kind of nastiness. You want Lollywood? Tell them you have Lollywood already. You can give them Lollywood free of charge. Tell them the truth. Anyway.
Actually shocked that which we're going to play a part of. Everyone in St. Lucia wants to watch an Hollywood movie. I was actually shocked that people in St. Lucia were talking to me about Glamour Girls, which was...
Lady, they love Obia too, oh. They tell you that? Yes, they love Obia, oh. Somebody's name is always in a bottle, always on a tree. Somebody's picture is always in the cemetery. Somebody's dress is always buried somewhere. They didn't tell you that. So all they told you is that St. Lucians love Lollywood. No, tell them. Whole set of malfite, gage, marginal, all over the place with nastiness. Your neighbor ain't do you nothing. You're throwing things in the neighbor place, spending your money going to all kind of nastiness, rubbing yourself. You're smelling like alligator and old dead fowl when you come to work. Like old yard fowl. Tell them the truth. All you're telling them is you love Lollywood, ain't it? Huh?
1990s. They know everything about the Nollywood industry. So, you know, this is a whole audience that Nigeria can tap into their resources. And for me, sitting on top of tourism, trying to open up possibilities in tourism, St. Lucia, I think, is a perfect place for us to be able to get some capacity building. And we've already started talking about partnering with St. Lucia on building resorts here in Nigeria.
But being very practical, Kayla.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wait. Did I hear the lady say that she's partnering with St. Lucia to build a resort in Nigeria? No, you didn't say that, ma'am. Did them fellas tell you that they will come up there? They have the Galaxy Hotel. Is it in Canel that they can't finish yet? Mosquito have already taken over every room, millions of dollars in passport, and they told you, ma'am, that they can come up there and build hotel? Who did you speak to? If you speak to Reno, fine. Reno can build anything you tell him to build in Nigeria. Reno is a businessman, and Reno will fly all his boats and all his trucks. He will send it over to Nigeria in a minute, you know. Reno is not easy, you know. He's a businessman. So I am thinking that you spoke to Reno, ma'am. Did you speak to Hila? Did Hila tell you he have a hotel in St. Lucia to build in Nigeria? Did he tell you where half of the hotels came from? Did he tell you who are the owners of those hotels? Did he tell you who's the owner of Sandals? Or did he promise you that Alice Shasta will build a cocoa palm in Nigeria? Did he say that to you? Did he? Or maybe Miss Lamontine, he told you is going to build one of those nice thing that she have there in Soufresh. She's going to build that up there in Nigeria. Miss Lamontine, I'm watching you. Oh. Yes. What is this? Let me ask you, St. Lucians, what hotel chain you guys have in St. Lucia that's yours, that you can build in Nigeria? Well, we're getting the information from the horse's mouth. But some donkeys are not talking. They ain't saying nothing to us. But we're getting it from the horse's mouth. Well, nothing wrong in getting it from the horse's mouth. So now we have Lollywood passport access. 44 million people. Give you a letter. Jump the fence. Fruit was offered free. Lollywood. Gage imaginoe. Whoop. Whoopala. Lady, continue because we want to hear. I want to hear this soap. See, I just love this piece of soap. This is good soaps. Now you think that they would have gone to America and get Young and Restless to come down to St. Lucia, but they want Lollywood. There is no Obia in Young and Restless or Bold and Beautiful. No, they love Lollywood. They have a big appetite, mama. And now they're promising to build hotels in nice. Anyway.
Lucia is a distance away.
Yeah.
And we do not have any direct flights. Yeah. So it would seem that the logistics to support this very bright idea is not quite there.
Yeah.
How soon, I mean, how do you intend to overcome that hurdle?
Yeah.
And how quickly do you think we can begin to see the results of partnerships like this?
So, St. Lucia, that was one of the things that was on the table, is the accessibility. The fact that I had to go round the world in less than 30 days to get to St. Lucia was a problem in and of itself. So one of the things that will be established is a direct route. And those discussions are being currently...
Now, hold a minute. Let me just say to you, Nigeria has no official airline. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, by the way. I'm subject to correction. But I don't think they have an airline. But you will get a direct flight. For those of you who love Lollywood, somebody's coming to pick your fruit. And somebody's coming to deliver the lead. The cow lead. And maybe they should bring some Lolo Beth while they're at it, because a whole lot of you guys need some good Lolo Beth, because that's all fair. You are giving away the ports. You are giving away the people's port. And then the airport is a total disaster. So I would say to you, my advice to you guys, as you bring in lead, tell them that you need to bring in, they need to give you some free Lolo Beth. Come one, come all. Free Lolo Beth while they're bringing in Lollywood for some of you. But let me go on, lady. Continue, because I want to move on quickly.
Partnerships like this.
So, St. Lucia, that was one of the things that was on the table, is the accessibility. The fact that I had to go round the world in less than 30 days to get to St. Lucia was a problem in and of itself. So one of the things that will be established is a direct route. And those discussions are being currently undertaken with the Minister of Aviation and the counterpart ministries to ensure that we have direct flights to St. Lucia. And like I said, it's not really
without a national carrier?
Even without a national carrier, we do have a very vibrant private sector that is more than willing to offer them their services. For example, in Brazil, I've just heard they have announced that Air Peace will be making direct flights to Brazil. So it's the same thing. If we have an enabling environment that allows even the private sector to flourish in the aviation sector, that is a route that we are empowering Nigerians in terms of eventually getting to a national carrier. So it's not, like I said, it's not about the route only to St. Lucia. It's about that gateway into a wider Caribbean community and a wider global community of African and Caribbean descent.
Hey. Reverend, there you have it. I brought the information to you. That's your information, folks. Yeah, mind your business. Here's your business. Lollywood in your skin. But surprisingly, she's looking at the region. You guys said that you are Africans, so Africans coming. You don't have to go. They're coming to you. Yeah, the African Nigeria. I think some part of Few Fort will be called very soon Little Nigeria, where you get all the Lolo Beths for free, and Lollywood headquarters would be somewhere in View Fort. Isn't that beautiful, friends? Isn't that beautiful? Says what you sow is what you reap. Is that true? Yes, what you sow. It is always what you reap. So, Papa share moi c'est pas moi qui dis, c'est madame là qui dit. that Stepping Stone, Gateway, Leather, Lollywood, and you guys going to build hotels. Can you imagine St. Lucia building hotels in Nigeria? Wow, this is going to be a beautiful thing. I wonder which minister of government told her that they will build hotel in Nigeria. Could it be that there is a minister in government who is eyeing opportunities for his retirement or her retirement? Hello, you don't have to tell us. We'll find out from Nigeria. We will find out from Nigeria. So let's take this call. The lines are not open yet, but we're going to take this call, folks. Caller, you're on the air. Welcome to Nigeria, Nollywood.
Hello?
Caller, you're on the air.
Garfield, before you move on, good night, sorry, good night.
Good night, my
to you,
love.
Garfield, and so. You have just troubled me, and I am hoping that as disturbed as I am, all St. Lucia is listening to you and listening to those that interview, and that they are as disturbed as I am. This is not hearsay. This is not AI. This is direct facts coming out. We St. Lucians were never told by our government what was discussed or the purpose in detail with Nigeria president coming to St. Lucia. However, his minister, in 2 separate interviews, is articulating what the purpose of their visit was, which in my mind is completely different to the press release that was sent by the government or released to the people by our government as to the purpose of the visit. St. Lucians must listen carefully. The lady made one statement, and if I say anything that's misquoted, Garfield, please correct me, because I wouldn't like to put your station in trouble.
No,
she said that
yes.
She said that St. Lucia has a population under 200,000, which is a little smaller than her village. A village, not a town, not a city, a village. So take into consideration the population of Nigeria. Take also into consideration that in most of the Europe, then the developing countries, Nigeria is on the highest on the blacklist of countries that must be severely scrutinized before allowed access into their country. The lady also made the statement about the problems that they have entering the United States.
Yes.
And she further, and now I'm paraphrasing here, my understanding of what she said as a gateway. St. Lucia is a member of the OECS. St. Lucia is the leader. St. Lucia, the headquarters is in St. Lucia. But also, the OECS countries are members of CARICOM. So when you get your footstep into OECS, you get it into CARICOM. That is where how many million she's trying to talk about comes from. Okay? So these people are forward thinking of how Nigeria can bring in the way they have flooded the States and the Europe, and they're being banned. They are now going to flood the Caribbean by using St. Lucia as the gateway, Howard, the gateway into the OECS, and by extension, CARICOM, because she mentioned the 40-something million. Since the OECS does not have anywhere near 40-something million. Now, if in what way then can St. Lucia be a gateway if it is not by CIP, if it's not by passports? In what way can St. Lucia benefit Nigeria to allow them to get easier access to the U.S. if it is not with St. Lucian, OECS, CARICOM passports? Garfield, St. Lucians need to pay attention. They need to pay attention to this carefully. Now, for Nigeria to be able to make such a deal with St. Lucia, what are they offering St. Lucia? It can't be leather. What is Nigeria offering St. Lucia? What did they bring? What are they placing on the table? We know Nigeria is a country with a lot of unrest, a hell of a lot of poverty, as well as a lot of wealth. Okay? So why would you be interested in a little country that can give you access to the countries that block you all, blacklist you all, and you're using that? St. Lucians need to pay careful attention to this. Ralph Gonsalves, to me, he threw his OCS brothers who were involved in the CIP under the bus. So I don't think that they're going to support this Nigerian move and let St. Lucia be any gateway into OCS or CARICOM.
And that's what I'm saying, that
So,
there is elections in most of the countries in the region: Guyana, St. Vincent, St. Kitts, St. Lucia, between this year and next year. And I'm saying to you, Doc, the Labour Party must be removed from the region. They must be, because there will be a lot of damage that will be done to these nations.
That's where I'm coming in this analysis. I think they would block them, but St. Lucia, then, because when you start with St. Lucia, a flood of those people getting our passports so that they can go. Their village can swallow little St. Lucia. Look at St. Lucians need to ponder on the enormity of this statement. St. Lucians and those of you who are more articulate than me in the Creole need to explain that to our people, to tell them we need to watch our bread, which means that watch our passports, watch our country's entry, watch what's happening in our country. Elections is coming. We cannot allow a government that refuses to explain to us carefully what happened and clearly and concisely what was the deal with Nigeria. And here this lady is explaining that St. Lucia, and I'm paraphrasing, is going to be a gateway to a system getting into the United States, to assist them in getting into CARICOM. Okay? This is what we are. We are just a piggyback, a stepping stone. We are just a puppet. And you, St. Lucians, have to have more integrity in your country. You have to be more patriotic. To saying this thing about this Africanism culture, my goodness, we have a Caribbean culture that we should be very proud of, because Africans, and I don't know if many St. Lucians have attended universities in Europe and in the United States. The Africans that I attended university with told me that I was not African because my blood wasn't pure. Okay? I am very proud of my Caribbean culture. I did not create it. I did not ask for it, but this is what it is. I accept it, and I'm proud of it, and I'm leaving a legacy behind. I am not going to bother myself about, because part of this African culture, it is not all on the Caucasians. Okay, the Africans everybody had slavery in their time. Every nation on earth had slavery. But our black African brothers took their own black brothers and for their bubbles invited and allowed the Caucasians to do what they did, that created the Caribbean. I am proud of being a Caribbean woman. I am proud of my own Caribbean culture, whatever it has become, and it is, and it's developing into. I don't know anything, and I don't have any interest in no kind of Nollywood, no kind of African culture. I will not allow and sit by and let no government sell my country's legacy to any other country based on, because we want African culture. Good heavens, is that what it is? St. Lucians, wake up. An election is coming. Be careful. This government has sold enough of our patrimony. We can't allow them to sell our very souls and using us as a gateway for people to get into the United States where they're blacklisted, and to step into the CARICOM countries, which I don't believe will be as silly as our St. Lucian government have just shown them and proven themselves to be based on this lady's statement. Thank you so much, Garfield, for putting this together, because I'm very disturbed.
I have a question for you. Does the state St. Lucia owns any hotel?
The state?
St. Lucia.
The St. Lucia? No, not that I know of at all.
But did you hear the lady said that they will build hotels?
That they're going to build.
That's how logistically, St. Lucia.
Logically, it makes absolutely no sense, and I cannot wait, because I'm sure Dominic is panting at the gills to speak on this, because logistically it makes absolutely no sense. Why would we be interested in building hotels all the way in Nigeria? Is the government going to finish our hotels in St. Lucia? Go and take out the one that's by Denry there. Fix it up. We have enough trouble in this country, but you want to go and build hotels in Nigeria? St. Lucians, wake up. We are not blind fools. It is time we tell this government, we put you there to work for us. It's not the other way around. You cannot just do exactly what you want and then think you can tell us after the fact. Because our children's children will pay the price of your ridiculous decisions. Garfield, thank you for showing this clip today. I want to get access to this clip because I want this clip to go viral. These two interviews to go viral and to explain in Creole. I want solutions to hear what our government has offered and has allowed the Nigerian government to see about the deal they made with St. Lucia. This is extremely serious and disturbing. I think I will not sleep well tonight because I'm so upset.
Well,
Thank you so much, Garfield.
I hope Dominic is watching, and I might be tempted to call the Honorable Alan Shasti.
I think you should. I think you should even try to get Dominic. Call him, because I know Dominic, being in charge of communications, is very likely listening to you, and I hope he gets himself up ready for a call from you, because he needs to give his piece on this. This is ridiculous to the bone, because I've not heard anybody from the higher ups in my party speak about this interview. So obviously they too had not heard it.
Yes.
So I mean, because had I heard it, I would have been on Tim already.
Yeah.
I would have sent it to him and I would have been on him. So Garfield, you were just waking up to Lucia.
Do you think we're overreacting based on what you are hearing?
Oh, how can you overreact? When you can only overreact by something that's a supposition. This was a woman saying, this is what it was about. St. Lucians, whoever is saying that we overreacted, this was a fact. The lady said, she said it. And Garfield, maybe you need to play it again for them to understand. Maybe you know what's wrong with them. They cannot accept, they're probably in shock that the government would not do that. You see, some people, their own consciences, even if they're partisan politics, their own consciences are bothering them. But this is the fact, the reality. She said it. St. Lucia is the gateway. She explained to her people the benefit of creating partnership with St. Lucia.
Because
that we are a gateway.
The Nigerians were putting pressure on their government concerning this visit to St. Lucia. And the question is, why did you go to St. Lucia? It is just a little dot. One of our
village.
St. Lucia can fit into just one little village that we have up there in Nigeria. What is in it for us? That was the question from the Nigerians.
And her answer was clear and plain. The gateway to oasis in the Caribbean, but bigger than that, the gateway to the United States. We have problems. We stand on the line. I mean, if they didn't understand, you put it that for words. And how are they going to get to the U.S.? Is it with St. Lucian passport? Is it CIP? She didn't say that, but that is my assumption, because I cannot imagine what other way. What other way can you get to the U.S. who's giving you trouble, where you're blacklisted, who give your people trouble? What other way? Soon, if we don't watch ourselves, we're going to end up being on a blacklist too. Garfield said Lucians need to wake up. It's homework
of it, because what the United States is doing, Doc, as you hear, is It is monitoring the movement of those countries that are blacklisted. And all roads are leading to the Caribbean, Doc. All roads are leading to the Caribbean, whether it's CIP, I am telling you, this sounds really bad.
This is very big. We are not overreacting because the international community is watching who is opening the doors and giving the blacklisted countries the gateway. So they're monitoring us, and we will pay the penalty.
It is more pressure too on citizens who would want to travel to some of these countries, the United States and Europe. It is a problem for them because America is now going to be saying, and these countries will be saying, well, these guys are finding loopholes in your country, and you guys are not tightening this thing up. As a matter of fact, you are giving them knighthood, you are embracing them, and we are saying that we have a problem.
Precisely. So how can you overreact? That's why I'm saying those two interviews should go viral all over the place so that solutions will hear. So they cannot say is they say, he say, she say. They hate to listen to facts, and they like gossip and maple and nonsense rather than listening to things that will affect them, their livelihoods, their freedom, and that of their children. St. Lucia need to wake up and pay attention to this interview. And the most important point is that it is a gateway to the United States that they have trouble with when they stand on the line. I don't know how it can be resolved by being in partnership with St. Lucia, if not through CIP, our passports. And it's also a gateway to OECS, and by extension, CARICOM, because OECS does not have, putting them all together, 40-something million people. My goodness, Garfield, this is big, and if solutions do not see the danger, we finish. And I'm saying solutions, I do not want this country finished. I have 3 young men bringing up in this country. Yeah. I need solutions to remove this government with all their shady deals and set this country on people who understand how to save our patrimony. Thank you, Garfield. I'm really, really upset, and I'm thanking you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Good night.
Much, Doc. Thank you. So, folks, I hope that I am not overreacting here, and I'm just sharing the information with you. I was doing some investigations. I wanted to find out what this deal was, why the Nigerians would have gone down there, and I came up with. I have more, but I am still trying to go through them slowly. I spoke to some Nigerians, some of them are my friends, and they're saying to me, boy, you guys should have just don't allow this guy to come into your country. You know, that's most of what I was hearing from a lot of the people there. But, you know, there are two sides to everything. But what we're hearing here tonight, now, for those of you asking about the viewership on Facebook, we have over 230-something people on YouTube, and we have our GVD television channel 115 on at the same time. Okay, so the numbers are reflecting that, and it is above sometimes the normal viewership on the platform. So let's take a break, and we will be right back.
They stream the tears and the cheers so clear. From the church to the pitch, they're always near. Tie the knot or score the goal, my friend. GVD TV's got you till the end. They stream the highs, they stream the lows, from wedding vows to final shows, through life's twists and the path it bends. GVD's there, it never ends.
Okay, and folks, we are right back. You are viewing us through our GVD channel 115 and also a YouTube channel and our Facebook page. This is Garfield Oliver, Caribbean American News Media Platform, the news that you report. Please share the live and tag a friend. It's very important that you share tonight's live like you have never shared before, I would ask you to send it to everyone you know, each person on the platform, all 300 over on our Facebook page. Please share it as much as you can. And those of you on YouTube, please do the same. And GVD TV, just keep locked on to GVD TV channel 115. And I want to thank the supporters over there on the GVD TV, the staff and the management there. Please support GVD TV at every opportunity you can. They're doing, these guys are just tremendous, and I really appreciate them carrying this program every Tuesday night. So let's get back into business. For some reason, my spirit just dropped, just listening and trying to put pieces together. And when you have a government that gives you bits and pieces, they don't explain things, and when they do explain it, they're explaining it in a fighting attitude, and they will tell you the other government that signed this, the other government wanted to do this, and that's all you hear, that Alan Chasney had to sign an agreement with Nigeria, and this one, and that one, and that one, and that one, and they don't really sit down and explain things, and people speculate. People are left in a confused state, and no government should leave anyone in any confused position. That's why you have communication people, so that you can always share what your government is doing. You are the press briefing thing is not a boxing ring, The press briefing is not a boxing ring. It's for information, not for fight with the opposition or to fight with other St. Lucians. It's to share with the people of the country. And you guys have taken government and you have just messed up the whole arm of government. You have polluted it. You have corrupted it, as far as I'm concerned. And it seems like none of the agencies, checks and balances, they're working as they should. It seems to me that nothing is working in your government system effectively, such as the GIS, the community, the National Broadcasting Network of the nation. That too seems like a fighting, like a ring, a wrestling ring. Boop la, boopate. You log in and they cuss you about your mother, and nobody blocks those who are cursing and messing with the citizens. You log in for the house sitting, and it's abuse upon abuse upon abuse, and it is just left. It is just like we're practicing Cocomacac tree, and it seems like Lollywood might be the best thing for us. I don't know what to say, folks, but this is scary, to say the least, that information is not coming. But let me go to a situation with, most of you would have remembered the Black Lives Matters, right? Remember during COVID there was Black Lives Matter. I'm going to show you how a group of black people who said to you that their Black Lives Matters and there is injustice in the country. I want to show you how miserable we are. And maybe we need Nollywood for true. Miserable people. Miserable. I want you to listen to this. I want to remind you, folks, of our attitude as a people.
Black Lives Matter.
The Black Lives Matter St. Lucia chapter 2.
And by the way, this clip is taken from HTS News Force. All the credit goes to them. Again, HTS News Force, this is where we're getting this clip from.
The opportunity to not only speak on police brutality and accountability, but rather the current state of emergency that almost put a damper on the day's proceedings. Mother of the late Beaufort Jeu, Allison Jeu, made a plea to St. Lucians to break free from submissiveness and speak up when and where it counts.
We have to understand what the state of emergency legislation does to us. It suppresses us, it restricts us. So the police commissioner...
Okay, hold. Now, Allison, I'm not going to allow you, Miss Allison, I'm not going to allow you to, or allow St. Lucians to forget these statements. Now, I just took the program to a whole different place there, all by myself. I just felt I wanted to go here. And I think I'm going here, all right? And thanks to HTS News Force, I'm able to get this clip. So, I just want to say to you, St. Lucians, that nobody was oppressing you. Nobody was deliberately keeping you hostage in your homes. Nobody was doing nothing to you. COVID was doing everything to us. And Allison knew that. All them fellas there, you see standing there, these political people knew the danger the country was in. And I got to remind you folks, you want to go to Nigeria? Well, I'm talking to you with your attitude right there in your own country. Look. Somebody was oppressing you. I'm going to play this again.
It suppresses us, it restricts us. So the police commissioner had no choice, but he could not approve it because it would have overwritten the state. It restricts us. To understand what the state of emergency legislation does to us. It suppresses us, it restricts us. So the police commissioner had no choice, but he could not approve it because it would have overwritten the state of emergency legislation. It is for the Prime Minister to come out and say exactly what he wants, whether he's supporting or not. You cannot be supporting on one side and then a law restricts us from protesting, from airing our views, from airing...
Now, folks, there was a state of emergency in the country. The government of St. Lucia, under heavy threat of death, mass death in their country, implemented under the Constitution the activated powers that was given to them legally under the Constitution to protect the citizens of the country. That's what you put your hands on the Bible to do as a prime minister, as a government. You swear to protect the interests of the country, the people of the country. And so there are laws that are placed in the Constitution where the Prime Minister of the government can activate certain protocols in the event of war, mass medical, like pandemic issues in your country, the threat of death, volcanic eruption, all kind of thing. There are certain laws that are on the books, and the government of St. Lucia under Alan Chasney activated those laws to protect its citizens. You realize how people were dying? I saw with my own eyes. I had to go to hospitals in New York area because of my job. I had to go in, and brethren, what I saw with my own eyes was dead bodies lined up. I saw with my own eyes refrigerated trucks. I saw with my own eyes special equipment being ordered coming into the hospitals to lift bodies and to automatically move them. I saw with my own eyes undertakers coming in and out, in and out, in and out, non-stop. I heard with my own ears emergency alarms in the hospital indicating that somebody just lost their life. It was just going off and off and off and off and off. We saw it with our own eyes, friends. But Allison and her group is telling you that oppressive law, as if everything was fine and the government just, a white man just decide to come and put his foot on your necks in times of peace. And that was not the case, my fellow St. Lucians. Don't forget these people who did that to you. Don't forget them. Most of you can look at your bedrooms. You can look in your kitchen, at your kitchen table. There used to be someone sitting there, talking to you, eating with you. They are no longer there because they died from COVID. Many of you went into depression because you could not have given your loved one a proper funeral service. Some of you had to do closed caskets. Don't let these people fool you. They are dangerous for the country as far as I'm concerned. Don't let them fool you. Caller, you're on the air, Caribbean American News Media Platform. Hey, my honorable friend, the best news announcer in the Caribbean. No, but I always say that to you. I always say that to you.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Thank you very much. And the same kudos go to you too, because you have me calling you because I had to jump up from the bed when somebody rang me and told me, you better go listen to Garfield. I said, eh. So I was right there. So I said, let me call you.
Well, somebody told me that there's a storm going all over the country now, that this platform is being shared in every corner of the country tonight. But go ahead.
But that's good.
Yeah.
Pastor Garfield, Allison John, I hate to tell her that lady's suffering from something called hate. Mm. I don't know if this is what has happened, unfortunately, to her son. We know mothers go through a lot of these things sometimes. It's unfortunate, but we can't dwell on that all the time and beginning to hate people and tell lies about people. You understand?
Yeah.
She deceived the St. Lucian public at the Constitution Park, where a few other people like herself, her mindset, went during COVID to have a demonstration which was completely a form of lying and deceitfulness to the people of St. Lucia. Because the person involved in that was a guy called Abba. He was the president of the Vendors Association. I can't really get his name right now. And he told me personally that they coerced him to come into the Constitution Park, and also where she invited the opposition leader at the time was Philip J. Pierre. He refused her, and also that same gentleman who was siding with her for that demonstration. And what he told me after, Philip J. Pierre, quote unquote, and I'm saying that he told me that, Philip J. Pierre fooled them and came into their demonstration without permission. So I could see what they have been doing to St. Lucians, lying to St. Lucians, because you were talking about the amount of the horrible things you see during COVID, and where with your job you have to visit and see. But St. Lucia during that time was worse, because Mistress Ramberly from Ramberly Funeral Parlor, she used to talk to me weekly about that. She said she have no place to put the dead bodies.
Wow, are you serious?
Yes.
Wow.
And also the other funeral parlors, they were filled up to they didn't know what to do, she was saying. I have a clip which I'm going to get and play with Mrs. Ramberly talking to me about that situation. Wow. She said that's the worst situation she ever seen for Little Island. She said there was bodies over bodies. And since you brought that up, I said, let me call you and let you know. But people in St. Lucia, they manipulate and deceive the ignorant, the illiterate. And that is the problem that people, citizens of this country and other people in the professional people have to stop allowing them to do us that. Because a lot of them are suffering from hate. For no reason, I don't know. And sometimes it falls right on the family of the Chasnays that haven't done them anything but his father's helped poor girls that couldn't get a job in the hotels because of where they live, Wilton's Yard and New Village. They couldn't get a job in the hotel. He had a supermarket. He had all of them. No questions asked. Today, Pastor Raphael, some of them are supervisors and managers for Macy's because of him. And guess what? Some of them made at least $1 million in shares. From shares when he sold Macy's, when he sold Julian's to Macy's. Yeah, build their own homes, etc. Send their children to school when they couldn't do it, and they came from poverty. And so Michael Shastey raised them up to the level that some of them are still working at Macy's in supervisory permission. And that's all I want to let St. Lucians know. Don't let people deceive you with their lies and their deceit. And they use a lot of games. And they manipulate the ignorant and the illiterate. We have to let that stop for St. Lucia to progress, especially with another thing. Just quickly, Agafi,
yes,
sorry about that.
Go ahead.
I remember the American presidents from way back, from Obama right down. Any African country that was out of order and had corrupt practices and oppression and acted like dictators, the Americans sanctioned them. And Nigeria was one of them. And the only president of Nigeria that put that thing in order was a president called Mohammed. You remember him? The president of Mohammed before Jonathan, look at what they call him. He was a no-nonsense president against corruption. And that president right now, who was chairman of ECOWAS, what he has done, he did to Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso will never be forgotten by them, especially when he tried to set Traore up by inviting him for a meeting. Every journalist know that. They've been telling me that. I have close contact there. That they invited Traore to Ghana, to Nigeria, and someone thinked on him and warned Traore not to go, but he was not going to go because he has some vicious bodyguards, 3 of them that tell him not to go. If he had gone, there was a trap waiting to assassinate him. We all know that. That's not. I'm not saying that to the world. The world knows that. Then he resigned from ECOWAS. He was involved in the African Union. And I tell you, I read the book by Walter Rodney, Africa Will Never Be United. So why are they trying to why they're trying to come to these OES countries? Because guess what? A Nigerian owns 75% of LIAC. You know that.
Yeah.
Antigua owns 25%. He owns 75%. He owns the airline called Peace Airlines that brought all the refugees from the Cameroons to Antigua as tourists. He knew what he was doing. But guess what? He's wanted by the American justice system in Atlanta, the Attorney General. He's now one of the most wanted on the FBI list. That owner from Nigeria. Because his girlfriend, who was an American, She went on the side of the Attorney General as a witness against him, and she squealed on him and all about the money laundering because she was involved in it and the fraud. And they've been trying to extradite him, and he's been hopping left and hopping right. He's wanted by the Americans and the FBI and the jurisdiction of Atlanta. That's why Obama didn't have much to do with them, except he was going to Kenya, his father's birthplace. I tell you something, we cannot allow these dictators, oppressors from the African countries to fool us in the OES. Let me take Zimbabwe. Mugabe fought for liberty, freedom. You know, it was called Rhodesia. Mm-hmm. And he changed the name from Rhodesia when South Africa could not defeat the guerrillas. He defeated the white government, known Rhodesia, and named it Zimbabwe. The new dictator president, I call him, a good friend of mine that we talk to all the time, she called him a mafia state, a satire, a satirical kind of conversation. He arrested her on a sick bed and refused to give her bail. This just because she said his government was a mafia organization. That's how they are, oppressive. How could we live oppressive African countries? Pastor Garfield, we have to think a lot in the OECS, man. Yeah. We can't let African countries fool us, because what if he has tomorrow or sometime next month, they usurp him, there's a coup against that President Tinubu. Mm-hmm. All deals with St. Lucia, what he's saying is over. Because we cannot take a risk on them.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we cannot take a risk with all the sweet talk they're giving us and knighting him.
St. Lucia need a reset. We need to reset. We need a reset. We need to pause and reset.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Pastor Garfield, thank you so much for your wonderful work as usual.
Thank you so much too.
Check you to the best.
Yeah, thank you.
But I get so tired I go home and have a rest. I have to wake up to do my research.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yes, brother, I'm still listening. Don't worry. Okay, thank you very much.
That was our friend over there on Sky FM, the cool one, ET Connect. Yes. So let's go back to listen to. We'll end the show in the next few minutes because I need to reflect. I need to get my thoughts back together, and it's just sad. Anytime I speak about COVID-19 and the response of the governments of the world, especially a small country, St. Lucia, who had never experienced such thing before and did not have the experience in dealing with a crisis like that. And they had with them the leader, the Honorable Alan Chastney, who was able to pull this thing off. And it drives me to a place where, as I do my investigations and look back, I always go back. It breaks me because their families, because of the recklessness of a lot of people in our society, have lost their lives. Many of them were made to believe that there's nothing going on, and it was just Chastney, a Musawa, who just wanted to put his foot on our necks. And many of the people took a chance and they exposed themselves. And they exposed relatives who were in their bed of affliction, could not walk, could not move. These people never went anywhere, but they contracted the COVID-19 virus and lost their lives because somebody went out and somebody brought it back into them. It was reckless, and I hope that, we can prayerfully reflect on the lives that were lost during this pandemic, and we truly reflect on our attitude, our behavior in our nation. So let's go back to finish the clip, folks.
Cannot be supporting on. It is for the Prime Minister to come out and say exactly what he wants, whether he's supporting or not. You cannot be supporting on one side and then a law restricts us from protesting, from airing our views, from airing what is within us, right? So they need to come out and state and look closely at that state of emergency. And we in St. Lucia need to see how our lives are restricted, how our freedom is restricted as a result of this state of emergency.
Reverend, honestly, folks, let's go to an ad quickly, please. Let's go to an ad. I'll be right back, folks.
American News Media, your Tuesday night power hour, live every Tuesday at 8:15 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and GVV TV channel 115. Join your host Garfield Oliver as he dives deep into the latest inclusion developments, regional affairs, and global issues that matter to you, from politics to the economy, community stories to international headlines. We cover it all with real talk and real insights. Stay informed, get the facts, be part of the conversation. Don't miss out. Set your reminders, share with your friends, and tune in. Caribbean American News Media, the news you report.
Sorry, this is weighing a lot on me. My people, this show tonight is one of the heavier ones that I've ever had. And I got myself, I will confess publicly on television and on social media, that I got myself so upset moments ago that I needed the time out to pull myself together. Brethren, I was shaken, and I felt it's just an experience I really cannot explain. And then I looked at Eric Celestin, and he said, "You still on COVID? Move on, let's deal with Calypso," as though the lives of people don't matter. And the lives of people only matter during an election campaign. It is sickening. It is nasty. It is reckless.
How our lives are restricted, how our freedom is restricted as a result of this state of emergency.
Several justifications were made for the extension of the state of emergency.
At that state of emergency, and we in St. Lucia need to see how our lives are restricted, how our freedom supporting or not. You cannot be supporting on one side and then a law restricts us from protesting, from airing our views, from airing what is within us, right? So they need to come out and state and look closely at that state of emergency. And we in St. Lucia need to see how our lives are restricted, how our freedom is restricted as a result of this state of emergency.
Several justifications were made for the extension of the state of emergency. Chief among them is the retention of Cuban medical professionals and the broad flexibility required to respond to a dramatic increase in COVID-19 cases. Je characterizes the extension of the SOE as a chokehold on civil liberties.
Our constitution is held on its neck We cannot breathe as a result of that state of emergency. But at the same time, you see people roaming the streets, you see people sitting at restaurants, and you're wondering whose life matter, whether it is one set of lives that matter or all set of lives that matter. Our lives matter. And St. Lucians, it is time we wake up. We have been taking nonsense for too long, whether it is in St. Lucia, in the United States, in the rest of the world. Stand up, St. Lucia.
The protest was in doubt given that the state of emergency bans mass gatherings. Leader of the opposition, Philip J. Pierre, says the freedom of assembly was uppermost on the minds of the opposition during debate on the extension of the SOE to September 30th.
We have a right in St. Lucia to congregate. The Constitution gives us a right to congregate. And that's what we said. When the state of emergency was extended, that was a reason that we thought that the government was trying to subvert the rights of people to congregate. You think it's their rights, they congregate and they demonstrate all over the world.
Now, folks, I want you to look behind the Prime Minister's head. There's a gentleman, KKK, stop them. Did you see that? I pause it. KKK, stop them. And there's another gentleman there, he says, we won't be silent. So there is KKK in St. Lucia, and they need to be stopped. Did you see that?
Happy that a few brave people have chosen to do in St. Lucia.
Although the police have been hammered by critics for the denial letter signed by the acting police commissioner, deputy political leader of the SLP, Dr. Ernest Hilaire, insists that according to law, the buck stops with the Prime Minister.
The competent authority under the state of emergency is the Prime Minister. So forget his post. If he wants this event to take place, he can authorize it because he is the competent authority under the state of emergency, not the Commissioner of Police.
Acting Deputy Commissioner Police Wayne Shalry was peppered with questions about the fears expressed by civil liberty and human rights groups about the possible abuse of the state of emergency.
I would not say go to the extreme to say that the police force is being used in a biased way. I believe that we know our job, I can tell you, and we are very impartial. I've always said preservation of the peace is key.
Some quarters of society have been agitating for a revision of the SOE on a monthly basis based on the island's management of the COVID-19.
Okay, folks, I'm not going to play this anymore. But you know what? Now would have been a good time to protest the death of all these young people in the country, innocent people who are being killed, like the young lady, with the pregnant young lady who lost her life. This would have been the ideal time for all these guys to stand up. There was a young lady who was going home. She had her court case the following day, and she was gunned down in the streets like a dog. And this group were not present. None of them were around. No Black Lives Matters. Because when black do stuff to themselves, it doesn't matter. We do it to ourselves, it's okay. It's all right. And none of them, you don't have them. There is no COVID-19 now. There is no restriction now. They can go in the park right now. Philip J. Ernest Hilaire, all them fellas, all of them can go into the park right now and protest against the violence against our people in the country. But you wouldn't hear them because they're protecting the victory. That march or protest was a victory protest. They wanted victory. Victory at your expense and your family's expense. And so they got victory now and they're finished. No more Black Lives Matters movement. No more KKK. And I will remind you, and I have more to come, I will remind you, St. Lucians, what's at stake. I will remind you of the carelessness, the recklessness, and the position that they put the police force in. The position that these people put the police force in. Philip J. Ernest and all these people, Jean, all of them, the whole cabal. expose a police force and expose the nation. Folks, let's just play the clip before we leave. I'm not gonna go. I had a good program planned up, but you know, maybe I should not have played the whole Allison thing. Maybe I should just stick with Nigeria. Well, it is what it is. So let me just play this.
They're offering us. We have been operating here for so long. I've been there for over 27 years since my father passed away. And I've been fishing from there to now.
My mother died when I was 14 years. A gate you see to go on the wharf there. My house was right there. Mr. Odlum paid me to move my house and bring it here. So I was here from 1975.
Yeah, I here since about 1975. Right, since then, well, at that time they did not backfill here yet. Right, the judge didn't work here yet. I was still by the roadside. We had the boat by the roadside.
Okay, so let's take this call. Let's take this call, folks. Caller, you on the air, Caribbean American News Media Platform.
Good evening, Brother Garfield.
Good evening, my friend. How are you?
Not too bad. Brother Garfield, you have no reason to regret playing Allison Jazz clip because it brings us back to COVID and the fear many of us had. And when you go back and you look at that clip and you realize how afraid you were for your life during COVID and these people on the streets, it makes you want that the polling booths are open like tomorrow morning to drag yourself into that polling station and go and vote. Because when you can look at heartless people like that, it's sometimes we tend to forget things very fast. But when you look at Pierre standing there with a mask on his face, and you are dragging my family members, you're dragging friends, you're dragging everybody else to come there to bring COVID to their families who are passed away. Tell me how you can live with yourself and you're telling me that we as St. Lucians put these people in there. We put them in there. And the reason why I always believe God allows leaders. He allowed them to lead, maybe to teach us a lesson. And a very hard lesson we are learning right now. And if we as St. Lucians, I'm not talking about red or yellow, because there are a lot of undecided voters, and for some reason, a lot of persons who are hacks don't understand. There are a lot of people on the sidelines that are watching those things, and we have to be careful what we say, because a lot of people are hurting when they look at those things, and these are the things you have to bring to the forefront. So never regret that you brought it up. It has to have happened because right now it agitated me. Okay? So you are doing a good job, and that Nigerian thing, you should play that again. Because many of us that know about them, there are some people that don't know about them, but many of us know about them. And I think you should play it again for it to sink in their brain.
Thank you so much.
Because we are in a lot of trouble, Pastor Garfield, and you are doing a good job, and you have to continue. Because I'm telling you, we are not in a good place. And if we don't, our parents, our generations before us fought for St. Lucia. They fought Odlum. They fought Odlum and his cabal on the Labour Party. They fought them for us to have had a better life. Now it's our turn to fight and to educate the young people. Not about leader, but about the party of Labour Party, what they stood for. I, as a little girl, saw the amount of eggs, rotten eggs, and excrete being thrown at Sir John. And I stood there with my little hands full as a young child. And when I saw that, I was hoping one day I would get old enough to stand on a platform and stand and stop it. I waited for years to get older, and I found myself on a platform. And this is why I can never vote that party. The trauma I saw, people having to run with youth stones being thrown on a stage, chickens flying here and there from rotten eggs. So these people have not changed their mentality, their mindset has not changed, and we must educate our young people of who that party is. Leader or no leader, all of them are just the same. It's just a party. And the UWP party has always been a party that try hard to work for St. Lucia and make St. Lucia's life better. Regardless of what, no party is perfect, but they have been the better party who has bring us forward. Yeah. And we have to stand. We have to stand and fight. And when I say fight, I'm not meaning physically fight, but fight for our country. And the things that are happening to the country, we have to stand up and we have to speak about it, speak about the hospital, speak about what's happening. You have people on dialysis that cannot get treatment, and they are dying. And many other illnesses are happening. That's happening in St. Lucia. People are dying inside, and the families are staying quiet. They're not speaking because they're just voting because of they support a party. I will put your party before my health, whether it's UWP or Labour. You mad? We haven't started talking. Because they came to make a change. They came to kick Alan Shante out to do better. They came to do better, and they have done 100 times worse. Anyway, brother, that is good. Just the clips I saw there, and I saw the Allison Jean, and the clip that was being shown, I just got pissed off.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. All right. So, folks, I'm going to change the show. We're going to end, but I'm going to go back to one of the clips based on requests from you, the viewers. Remember, it's the news that you report, of course. So we're going to play that clip, and then we'll do the Bonanza Land another time, all right? Not that it's not important, but there's a request, and I got to take up this request. So again, we're going to play back the clip from Nigerian television, and the clip that I started playing was from the United Workers' Party social media site.
So you signed it with your counterpart there, Dr. Ernest Hilary.
Yes, we did.
So,
yes.
So what's that about? What's that supposed to be?
So first of all, many people ask why St. Lucia? And I continue to say that we are actually lucky that we have a president that has the ability to think ahead and outside the box. So Lucia wouldn't be your perfect fit for Nigeria, only because there's, they say, less than 200,000 people, population in St. Lucia, which is almost as big as my village, right? However, St. Lucia is the gateway to the Caribbean, which is 44 million people in terms of population and counting, because you have a greater global community. And this is 13 countries. So St. Lucia is the headquarters to the Organization for the Eastern Caribbean. They're right there in St. Lucia. So it was, for me, I thought it was quite ingenious for the president looking at the atmosphere, the global atmosphere, whereby as Nigerians, we have to struggle to even get an appointment, to have a visa that is going to last, one entry for 3 months. So we need to look at who has the appetite and, the interest in what we have to offer in terms of our content and in terms of our country. So the president, I thought it was great, what he said to us was that the colonialists, when they went to the Caribbean, did not take away from Africa. What they did was they enhanced Africa. And I thought that was a beautiful way of looking at it. So Lucia is opening up our opportunities in terms of creativity and the cultural diplomacy. The festivals that they have. We have our Calabar Festival. We have our Dirty Decembers. Everybody in
jazz thing going.
The Jazz Festival, which we're going to play a part of. Everyone in St. Lucia wants to watch an Hollywood movie. I was actually shocked that people in St. Lucia were talking to me about Glamour Girls, which was I think sometime in the 1990s. They know everything about the Hollywood industry. So this is a whole audience that Nigeria can tap into their resources. And for me, sitting on top of tourism, trying to open up possibilities in tourism, St. Lucia, I think, is a perfect place for us to be able to get some capacity building. And we've already started talking about partnering with St. Lucia on building resorts here in Nigeria.
But being very practical, Kayla, I mean, an Honourable Minister.
Yes, please.
St. Lucia is a distance away.
Yeah.
And we do not have any direct flights. Yeah. So it would seem that the logistics to support this very bright idea is not quite there.
Yeah.
How soon, I mean, how do you intend to overcome that hurdle?
Yeah.
And how quickly do you think we can begin to see the results of partnerships like this?
So, St. Lucia, that was one of the things that was on the table, is the accessibility. The fact that I had to go around the world in less than 30 days to get to St. Lucia was a problem in and of itself. So one of the things that will be established is a direct route. And those discussions are being currently undertaken with the Minister of Aviation and the counterpart ministries to ensure that we have direct flights to St. Lucia. And like I said, it's not really
without a national carrier?
Even without a national carrier, we do have a very vibrant private sector that is more than willing to offer them their services. For example, in Brazil, I've just heard they have announced that Air Peace will be making direct flights to Brazil. So it's the same thing. If we have an enabling environment that allows even the private sector to flourish in the aviation sector, that is a route that we are empowering Nigerians in terms of eventually getting to a national carrier. So it's not, like I said, it's not about the route only to St. Lucia. It's about that gateway into a wider Caribbean community and a wider global community of African and Caribbean descent.
What does this translate to us here in Nigeria, and how do we place our buttons to derive the best benefits?
Thank you again for having me. It's a very exciting time for Nigeria, especially when it comes to the area of not only tourism, creative industry and the culture as well. With the European Union, it's an agreement. We have not signed the MOU yet, but we're in talks. And yesterday I had very meaningful discussions with the ambassador of the European Union for the country. So things like capacity building, infrastructure, as you've spoken to, we have alluded to, and the area of policy. You know, for the Europeans, for the global community, with the policy, IP policy number one is something that has eluded the industry, has the sort of foresight to really open up the envelope as we in the world. You know, Nigeria has to be very creative in opening up other opportunities, especially with countries that, and as you see with the global happenings in the world, you know, Nigeria has to be very creative in opening up other opportunities, especially with countries that want us to come in and to do business. St. Lucia is the gateway to the Caribbean, despite the... So you wouldn't think it is the ordinary or the normal way we should gravitate. But because of the foresight of the president, and as you see with the global happenings in the world, you know, Nigeria has to be very creative in opening up other opportunities, especially with countries that want us to come in and to do business. St. Lucia is the gateway to the Caribbean.
Folks, I'm just trying to get the beginning.
Made the headlines, and you were part of that team that went with him. Beyond the cheers and warm reception, what exactly does Nigeria stand to benefit from this visit?
Thank you. Well, first of all, St. Lucia was absolutely beautiful, but I have to say, thank God that we have a president that has the sort of foresight to really open up the envelope as we do with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. St. Lucia on paper does not seem as a fit for Nigeria to go and do a partnership with, right? It's a country of less than 200,000 population, which is like as small or as big as my singular village in Nigeria. So you wouldn't think it is the ordinary or the normal way we should gravitate. But because of the foresight of the president, and as you see with the global happenings in the world, you know, Nigeria has to be very creative in opening up other opportunities, especially with countries that want us to come in and to do business. St. Lucia is the gateway to the Caribbean, despite the fact that it's a country that has less than 200,000 in terms of population. But St. Lucia is the main. I think it is that is where the organization of the Eastern Caribbean countries reside. So when you open up partnership with St. Lucia, that is an access to 44 million population and 13 different countries. So when you think of it in that way, when you approach it in that way, you see that really St. Lucia has a lot to offer in terms of resources. And then you'd think this is a community that has an appetite and a hunger for Nigerian culture, for African culture. So this is an area that we really want to look into. Cultural diplomacy, cultural, different festivals. Their festival, which really mirrors the Calabar Festival, they're interested in what we have to offer with Dirty December or Jude Oba, with our Durbas, with the Arugungu Fishing Festivals. There's a lot of areas of similarity. And again, tourism. We're looking up to open up our tourism assets. And you look at a country like St. Lucia and many of the Caribbean countries that have been able to really bring tourism, really exercise tourism to a state that the whole global community wants to go to the Caribbean. So this is an area of capacity building that I, as a minister sitting on top of tourism, wants to see what we can do in terms of tapping into their own resource when it comes to tourism to teach us. Already we have signed an MOU with St. Lucia that's going to open Nigeria up to a number of resorts in Nigeria, tourism resorts, and then see how they can also tap into what we have to offer for culture. They have an interest. I tell you, in St. Lucia, every single person that you talk to is talking about Nollywood. That is the one thing, that is the one area of interest. Not even the music, is the Nollywood, is the film industry. So can you imagine the different partnerships that we can open up the Nollywood industry to? From filming, co-production in the Caribbean, the filming, the locations that we can have, and as well as the fashion. They have an interest as the fashion. So we want to open them up to come into the Nigerian market, to look at how they can get resource from our leather, from our ashoakes. So there's a number of benefits and worth and values that can benefit both of us. So it's really about looking at what each country has, or the Caribbean has, or what Nigeria has, and to see what is mutually beneficial. And for me, is to continue to see what we can extract from St. Lucia. And like I said again, thank God that we have a president that has the foresight to think outside the box in terms of not only with the industry, my own industry, in environment, St. Lucia, what it has done with the environment ecosystem, with the health ecosystem. There's a lot of things that we can partner. So we don't need to go to countries that we're struggling to even get an appointment to get a visa. You have a whole community, millions and millions of black people that have interest in you, and that have a vested interest in knowing about your culture and your shared heritage. And so I think that's primarily what the value of the St. Lucia visit was.
Hello. Folks, that's the show, and we will be seeing you again. Thank you so much for being here with us on Caribbean American News Media Platform. Folks, have a beautiful night. Thank you so much for being here with us. Looking forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the support. Let's continue to pray for the nation, continue to pray for the country, the world, rather, friends. We topsy-turvy, we're upside down, and we are all over the place. All right, so appreciate all of you, and I will try to organize the clips so that it can be forwarded out of the system to the social media platforms, all right? So, and to those who requested it. So blessings, and have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evening. All right, folks?